So today, our lesson is how to safely use the jointer. Now first I'm going to talk about some of the uses of the jointer. The jointer will surface an edge before you rip it on the table saw. My material from the factory has rough edges. Okay, we have to surface one edge to rip on the table saw. The surface and smooth edge goes against the fence of the table saw, so we rip this garbage off. In this case, it's a check mark. The joiner also will take out another wood defect. It's called a crown. The best way I can assimilate what a crown is, think of grandma's rocking chair. Flip it over, the bend of the wood. Well, that's actually man-made, but a crown will have a natural bend going along the grain. So if you ever get a board and it will teeter on a table, it has a crown. So you got to take that, flip it over, so it actually sits flat, so you get a nice even cut on the jointer. Again, a crown is when the board goes along the length of the grain. Now, the machine has one purpose: surface one edge to prepare it to rip on the table saw. It is not used for any cutting to length, meaning if you cut your boards 1/8 of an inch too long, you do not come to this machine and run them through across the grains. The board never goes through the machine across the grains. Rotation. We talked about rotation of the blade yesterday with the radial arm saw and chop saw. Rotation of the blade, it rotates towards you. So if you're to run your piece through the joiner, because rotation of the 3 knives, it will chunk and split out your end grains. You just wasted a piece of material. Okay? I should never ever see your board standing up going across the grains. Only along the grains. Chop saw, radial arm saw, we work across the grains. Jointer, primarily with the grains on the table saw, like whip. Now, what I want to show you kids is the knife assembly of the jointer. Anytime I'm going to expose a blade like that and show you kids something, I'm going to unplug it. Okay, it's 3 knives that are on the cylinder that rotate. There's the first knife, second knife, third knife. And they rotate towards you. So, having said that, remember what I said yesterday about long sleeves, hoodie strings, long hair. Here's good. Long hair, loose clothing. See me go like this. Doesn't mean bunt the runner to second bench. No, it does not. It means roll your sleeves up. Okay. Especially on this machine, what will happen is the rotation of the cylinder, it will pull whatever it has hold of it down inside. Alright? Okay, so we're going to go over these safety rules here for the jointer. Again, operate only with instructor's permission after you receive instruction. Again, you do not, after you receive my lesson, watch the demonstration, take the quiz, you do not need to ask me every time Mr. Pauls, may I please run this board on the jointer. No, just use it. Okay? Use it safely. Again, remove jewelry, eliminate loose clothing, confine long hair. Just talked about it. So sleeves up, hoodie strings tucked in, long hair pulled back. I don't see any jewelry. Make sure if you have your iPod or your iPhone cords, don't let them hang really low. Well, you're not going to get hurt, but they're going to get cut off, and they're going to get ruined. Number 3, make sure all guards are in place and operating correctly. This here is called the swing guard. What happens is, run the board through, it exposes the blade to make my cut, then it comes back and covers the cutter head when it's not in use. How does it work? This string right here. Pull the guard back in place. Now, if you ever use this machine and the guard sticks open like this, get my attention immediately. That's an open, exposed, running blade. All I'll simply have to do is maybe squirt some WD-40 and it will work just fine. Okay, sometimes it sticks. It is possible for the guard to stick open. Let me know if that happens to you. WD-40 and it will be fine. Number 4, always use proper eye protection. Always wear safety glasses when working with machinery in this class. Number 5, make all adjustments with the power off. Now, I'm going to show you kids what you're not going to touch. Okay? Show everybody what you're not supposed to touch. All you're simply going to do is turn the machine on and off. I'm teaching kids these settings so you don't get the temptation. You'll know, oh, if I mess with that, well, that's what's going to happen. Okay, so here's the deal. First off, fence tilt knob. I can set this from anywhere to a 0 to a 45-degree angle. So if I ever need to do that. Loosen it up, see if I can. 0 to 45. For the blanket chest that we make here, sometimes I have to run material at a 15-degree angle. So I can lock it in place and run my material. But for the most part, it's always going to be set to 90 degrees. Fence width. I can adjust this fence if we need to ever surface plane our material. We can do that. I can go as wide as 8 inches. So if I need to surface plane material, servicing the face of the material, I can do that. Okay. For the most part, we don't though. I have a surface planer back there that we use to surface materials. Set the surface of the material. So that's your fence tilt, fence width. Underneath. Well, first off, here's your in-feed table, out-feed table. Material gets processed through from the in-feed table to the out-feed table. It's always going to be right to left. Underneath each table is each table's wheel, in-feed adjust wheel. This is directly related to the depth scale. Right now I'm set for 1/16 of an inch. That's always going to be cut off at once right now in this machine. So in-feed adjust wheel. When I turn this, right now I'm lowering it. I'm going to lower it to, let's say, 1/8 of an inch. I have a board that has a really, really wicked crown in it. I want to take more material off, set it to 1/8 of an inch thickness cut. And that is the max that will ever be cut off in this machine, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so either 1/16 or 1/8. Next, outfeed table, outfeed adjust wheel. This is something that you will never, ever, ever touch on this machine. Here's why. The outfeed table is set so that the top dead center of the knives are exactly level with the outfeed table. If you were to ever mess with that, your board will not be straight. I primarily do not use these machines. You kids do. You kids primarily use these machines, so if you mess with it, only affecting yourself and your classmates. So do not ever touch this wheel right here, the outfeed adjustment. Again, I'm showing you what not to touch. You know what each thing does, so do not touch, especially the outfeed adjustment. Okay? A push stick or push block must be used when hands will pass over or within 2 inches of the cutter head. So if I have to, we may get to the point with our table legs where we have material that we have to surface that is less than 2 inches. What it says is you have to use a push stick or push block. Here are my push sticks. They're made of wood. They're missing chunks. They're supposed to be missing chunks. These are supposed to be missing chunks, not your fingers. Okay? So, 2 inches. Air is about 2 inches. Now, if you're trying to run material less than 2 inches, look how close my knuckles are to the cutter head. That's a little too close for comfort. Okay, so if I ever have to surface something or run something less than 2 inches, use your push sticks. One push stick, keep your material on the table against the fence. The other push stick, push it through. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm going to glide it through, keeping this push stick stationary, where I want to keep the pressure on the table against the fence, slide it through. Okay. So that's what that safety rule means. Use a push stick or push block when hands are passed over or within 2 inches of the cutter head. Make several light cuts, 1/16, 1/8 instead of one heavy cut. Well, if you have to cut off a 1/2 inch, go to the table saw. Again, this is just to surface an edge of the board to get you ready to grip on the table saw. Minimum length to be processed in this machine is 12 inches. 2 pieces I cut yesterday, 12 inches long. They're going to be for the size of the project. Now, for our end table. Now, the final size of those is 11 inches. So I follow my safety rule. 12 inches long, I cut them to. Then, when we're ready to do a final cut, we cut them back down to 11 inches. Okay? Anything less than that, you run the potential of the material getting jammed into the cutter head. Rotation of the blade goes this way. I should say the cutter head goes this way. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to come back. It's going to kick back. Okay? Anytime you have a kickback, that's scary. It'll stop your heart for a split second because it's scary. Okay? And I already talked about this. Number 9, do not adjust or remove the rear or outfeed table without permission. You will never ever touch that wheel. Okay? Leave it go. If you touch it, you mess with it, it's your material that's crooked, not mine, because I don't make the projects anymore. I've made so many of them, I don't make it anymore. Okay? Alright. So, again, parts review. Fence tilt, fence width. Fence, guard, in-feed table, out-feed table, corresponding wheels underneath, and your depth scale right along the side here. Again, that is directly related to your in-feed adjust wheel, in-feed table. Alright, so safety glasses on. Now, sometimes you may get a board that is, well, pretty wide, such as this. This is probably about a 10.5 inch wide board. If I was to stand here and try to run this board, and I put my hands up here, well, this becomes a fulcrum. I'm not going to be cutting straight. I'm not going to have a straight cut. Okay? So what I want to do is, I'm just going to extend my fingers down, plenty far away from the blade. I'm going to turn the machine on, and I'm going to process it through. Okay? Again, do not ever hold it up here for obvious reasons. You're not going to have a straight cut. So turn the machine on. Plug it in first. Hey, safety first, right? Since I was playing around with an exposed blade. Okay, turn it on. Again, when you cut with any machine here in my shop, dust brush is going to be on. The damper must be pulled open. It's like a big vacuum cleaner that pulls all the dust out, all the chips from the machines. The barrel's outside, so make sure that's on. So again, I'm going to keep my material securely against the fence. Push it through. And again, you must make sure you keep the material against the fence. You should not see any daylight between your board and the fence when you run it. Have a nice, straight, smooth edge. It's square. Make sure you turn the machine off. Remember, the only machine in this shop that you do not have to turn on or off is the chop saw. It's just a squeeze trigger. Everything else you must turn off. This machine here commonly gets left on, so make sure you turn it off. So now I have this nice surfaced edge, and again, as I said, the surfaced edge goes against the fence of the table saw, so now I can rip that garbage off. On your projects, I should never see any factory edges. All right? Questions on the safe and proper use of the joiner? All right, thank you.